paranormal experiences, stories with my girl Vanessa, the dream medium. I also have somebody hopping on that's gonna share a story, of things that happened to her. And here's my girl Vanessa. She was waiting for me. She was waiting for me.
Yes. Love you.
I know. How are you? Let me
I'm
turn this thing
good.
off because I have friends that are like sending me their little ghost story, like paranormal stories, like things that happen to them, and I'm like, all right. And one of my friends, I had to like ask her because she told me the story a long time ago, and she's out to dinner, so she can't hop on here. But she was like, "Let me tell you really quick what happened, so you can share it."
Yeah, it's pretty common. I mean, everybody, I'm sure, has experienced something.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know how you wave back on here, Chris. My friend Chris is like, "How do I wave back?" I have no idea.
I don't know. We
Some
got you.
people wave when you're in the comments, but I really don't. I don't know how to do that. Like because I'm always on here. It's like I'm not on the other side all the time.
Yeah.
So how are you, Vanessa?
I'm good. I'm good, just living life.
Living life. How would you? So let's just get into this freaking topic. Like, what do you? How would you describe paranormal, like activity or whatever stories? Hi, Tom.
Yeah, it's like I feel like these souls or beings are just here. Like they're choosing to be here. Like they're not ready to go on the other side.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's just something that they choose. I know that I've heard something about imprints, like if they would do something, like maybe go up and down the stairs like all the time, like that was their thing. I don't know. In the middle of the night, like they'd wake up at night. That's what you still hear because it's their imprint of their energy doing that.
Right.
Um, that's what I heard. I don't know, but I still think it's kind of, I don't know. And then you get into like bad energies kind of hanging out. Yeah, it gets intense.
I've
So,
always heard that when it comes to like ghosts or like spirits or anything like that, that they feel that we're the ghosts, us. Like meaning like some of them they don't know that they've crossed over or that it's that time. They're kind of like in limbo,
mhm.
and that's why they haunt places and things like that. Like like us. Like if we hear things, we're like, "Yo, like get out of here."
Yeah.
We start like trying to do things, but like if they're doing it to us, like you know what I mean, like. They're trying to get rid of us, but we're like, this is actually, our, we live here now. You're no longer here. We live here now. But that they're not sure of that. Like they don't know that.
Yeah, even like just energies like scary things. Like I've heard like demonic stuff and I'm like, what? And there's haunted houses and mansions and hotels and things like that. And I feel like if you are intentionally searching for something and you want to see it or find it, like I think you will. Like, I don't think they just come to you just because. Like, I think if you go to them, you will find it. And then with that, that's scary. I wouldn't want to go hunting, like ghost hunting or go looking
Yeah.
for things like that because then you go into attachments and bringing that home with you and all that stuff. And I'm not about that.
Yeah. Do you know? I'm not sure if it was you that I said this to, but you know that they got like ghost hunting apps, like on the iPhone and like on the App Store, they have ghost hunting apps that
Yeah.
you can use, and people use them, and people use them. That's the thing.
Wow.
you know
No.
and I tried it here one time. I remember me and my friend, I downloaded it and I was like, let me see. And I was just trying to pick up, and sometimes it picks up on certain words, but I mean, who knows? for sure. Like, I don't have it anymore. I did it like to experiment, like as an experiment, but that
Hmm.
was it.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not. I don't even watch scary movies. Like I'm not gonna see anything that's like possession or I don't know, like just scary evil things. There, I'm not gonna watch that. I will
Yeah,
not.
I don't watch it either. I don't watch like The Conjuring, none of that.
Mm-mm.
Like any
Mm-mm.
of that, don't even ask me because I'm not watching it. I'm not doing it.
Mm-mm.
I don't
No.
care.
And it's like we understand because we deal with spirit and energies and there's high vibration, low vibration energies, and we see both and experience both, and so it's kind of like, nah, I don't want to see the dark stuff. So
Yeah, no, because it really like it gets under your skin. And I think the last time you and I were on a live or one of these lives that we did together, I was saying how I think I said it. But anyway, I've said it plenty of times on here. How as a kid, our parents were like making us watch like The Exorcist, and like Amityville Horror, and like I had no business at like 5 years old watching this. Like, come on, let's be real. None, no business watching movies like that whatsoever. Then you can't sleep, and all types of things happen. But let's get into like sharing a few little things. Like I know you've experienced some things. I can say as a kid, like, I would hear them call my name and all kinds of things. But let's talk about when they touch you, when
hmm.
they poke you, when they pull the sheets off your bed. Like I've experienced all that. Have you? Like, what is something that, you've experienced that you're willing to share with us today?
Okay, so I know I have a lot. um Let's see. I think the one that I really remember the most is when I was little. They used to wake me up at night in the middle of the night. So that's when I would see them. I would see them awake when I was little. And this little girl came from the hallway and she came and she stood right beside my bed. She didn't talk. You couldn't even hear her crying because she was crying, but I felt her. Like I felt her emotions. I felt really sad. And I just hugged her. Like I wasn't even scared. I hugged her and she felt like a body. Um, and then,
Wow.
yeah, and then she just looked at me like, okay, you're hugging me. And then I blinked and my arms were just like this and I just kind of just closed my arms and she was gone. And it was
Wow.
weird. It's almost like I was hypnotized in a sense. Like I'm just so focused on her and what she was feeling, and I just truly felt bad for her. Like I just felt like I needed to love her. And so I just hugged her and she freaked out, like kind of like in shock. I guess she wasn't expecting that reaction. And then she just took off. I saw her again a few, like in my teenage years. I saw her again when I had my son and he was 1, and I was asleep and she came over me and she was trying to pull my arms off of my son because he was asleep on my chest and I just had him like this, and she was like pulling my arm away and I felt like she was trying to take him, and that freaked me out, and so I started squeezing him tighter, and then I looked at her like upset, and then she took off, like she vanished, and I looked at my son and I was like freaking out. That was the only time I saw her. And then when I told my mom about it, she said that when I was younger, I was in the backyard playing on the swings and I came in crying saying that there was a little girl in the backyard. So I'm thinking it's the same one.
Wow.
But yeah, that's kind of what happened with it.
Nah, it's been that long time. She was there a while.
Hmm.
No, 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 no. That's a little too much.
Yeah.
Let's
See?
deal with, you saw her in the yard and stuff, but not like trying to grab your baby. Like, no, like we gotta draw a line. You guys,
Yeah.
they're doing too much.
She was
Doing,
almost jealous.
yeah, probably because she wanted your attention.
See?
She wanted your love because you hugged her. I find that interesting that she felt real.
Hmm.
Like that's where it's like, what? Really?
Yeah. I, yeah. Even when I was little, I've had like imaginary friends. I would always talk all the time. I was always talking in my room. I don't, I remember myself kind of talking, but I don't remember who I was talking to or what they look like. My mom would say like she would just hear me talk and act like I was talking to a group of people. And I was like, I don't know.
Were you like an only child?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting. Because I know a lot of, you know, people that don't have siblings, um, that would have like imaginary friends, or they would say like, no, I would play, like I would actually see, another kid there and they would play with me. And I just find that like, interesting because it's usually people that don't have siblings, as far as what I've come across,
Hmm.
people that I've met. Not really like, people that do have siblings. Like, that's like,
I'm the weird one.
wow. So I know that my friend Susie is supposed to hop on here at some point to share her stories. If anybody's on here that has like a story they want to share and you want to come on the live, let me know. I will add you and you can share. I know that I was, like I said, before we hopped on this live, I had a friend that was texting me and she was talking about, and she told me the story a long time ago. And I remembered bits and pieces of it. But for her, it was an apartment here in New York, in Brooklyn. Ooh, I got a request from somebody. I'm going to see who that is. Um, uh, she lived in New York, in Brooklyn, and she was in her apartment. And she said that for her, there was activity that always happened in the kitchen. So like one time her mom was actually like cooking pork chops, like using the burners, towards the back of the stove.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it was the weirdest thing. Like she had the thing cooking, and next thing you know, those pork chops were on the floor, like all the way from the back. They wound up in front of the stove on the floor. She said there was no splatter or anything. It's almost like if they just picked it up and put it on the floor. Yeah,
Yeah. Isn't that weird that they move things and they hide things too? Like I don't understand why they do that.
yeah. I don't know, man, but like, and I know my daughter Jade, she still goes through that now. They hide things from her
Hmm.
constantly,
Hmm.
constantly. She's like, she will tear her room upside down and not find it. And the next day, it'll literally be like, on her chest or like on her vanity table. And she's like, and she'll come and ask me, did you put this here? Did you find it? And I'm like, no, I didn't even go in your room. And it's
Hmm.
like, they've been doing this to her since she was little.
Yeah.
She was little. They constantly hide things, take things from her.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know why they do that. It's just so weird. And that happens to me too. They just move things or
Oh,
I don't know.
all right. Susie's actually in here. I didn't see her hop on here, but I have her request. I'm gonna bring her on so she can share.
Awesome.
Hopefully it comes through because I did just accept it. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, Susie. I didn't see
Hi.
you.
Oh, yeah. I got kicked out and then I came back in.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I
Yeah,
didn't
that's
see your
fine.
name or anything, and then I'm like, my friend Susie's supposed to hop on here, but
Oh,
and
is
there
that-
you are. Like,
Yes.
thank you so much, first of all, for taking the time to hop on here with me and Vanessa today, because it takes, a brave soul to do a live. To come on a live, I say that because
Right.
people that'll tell me, I want to go on, and then the same day they're like, no, I can't do it. Like, and that drives me crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah, during this pandemic, I got some practice with the Zoom meetings, where you have to show your camera. But yeah, this is my first time actually jumping on a live, so through
Awesome.
Instagram. So
Welcome. I have a lot of people that are never on live and they come on. So please, 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 please share what you can. I know you sent me a story on DM and you were talking to me about it. Please share with the people on here like what you experienced as far as what as much as you can.
okay. So this was about I want to say about 15 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
it all started because my cousin, she has paranormal activity in her house. Now this is she purchased her house maybe like about 30 years ago. And so I was talking to her yesterday, so she gave me the okay to share, you know, her story. But she's been having paranormal activity there for a long, long time. And it was about 15 years ago where she was we were at her house, you know, for a party, and she was telling us the stories of everything that was going on in her house. You know, she was telling us her front door opens by itself, and it's not the air or anything. It just, there could be watching TV in the living room and it just pops open, and it's a wooden door. The restroom door like opens, and it's the in the restroom, if you open the restroom door all the way, it hits the shower door. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
not careful, it'll bang it and you could hear it, you know. And so she says that sometimes that would happen. um it's even pulled their hair. So she was breastfeeding on her couch laying down, and it grabbed her by the hair and pulled her down to the floor. uh
No.
yeah, so it's just a lot of that type. She sees shadows. One day she said they were leaving, her and her kids were leaving, and so she was looking inside of her house. She was outside looking inside of her house, and she could see people moving around, like small people moving around inside her house. So she thought it was her kids, so she was saying, let's go, we gotta go. And they're like, well, we're already here. They were actually outside already, and they saw like little figures moving inside the house. So they all freaked out, got in her truck, and they just stayed there like till her husband got home. So yeah, she's just had a lot of activity there. And so she was telling us the stories of everything that was going on. So me and my other cousin, which is her brother, we were, we had already been drinking a little bit, so we were like cracking jokes, we were making fun. So she said during the time where the restroom door opened and it slammed on the shower door, they actually heard a voice saying a name. And I won't say the name anymore. I cannot say. I could say it if it's somebody else called that, but when I'm referring to this thing, I don't say the name anymore. I don't refer to it. I don't know. I'm just scared now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I actually said a name. They heard a voice, like a man voice, say a name. And so they thought, wait, that's crazy. You know, like it's not only her hearing it, it's her family too. And so we were making fun of it. Back then I didn't know better. So, me and my cousin were like, yeah, we're just calling it by the name. And we're like, yeah, it's gonna, oh, don't get me, we're inside the house just making fun of it. Well, let me tell you, whatever it is followed us home. And so what happened once I got home, I started feeling a presence. Like I just started like I never saw anything, but I just would feel someone was there. And so it all started with me going to sleep at night. My husband used to work nights, and so I used to go to sleep, and then I would wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning, but like wake up instantly, like if somebody just woke me up. So I would just like wake up and I'd be like, wait, what's going on? And I just would feel like a presence. And as the days went by, I just couldn't sleep. It was like I was telling Sin that it was like I was on the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I was losing sleep. I couldn't. I was terrified to go to sleep. I felt the presence. And so at a certain time, I already knew like I got to get to my room. And I started like closing my door, locking it. And I would sleep with the light on. I just felt a presence there. And so one night I heard my bedroom door open, and my husband's routine when he would come home is he would come into the bedroom, and then the first thing is like the closets. So then he would open his closet door and, do what he does. And then he'd peek around the corner to the actual bedroom. And so I heard our bedroom door open. I heard I heard the closet door open, but I didn't hear it close. So I thought, oh, okay, so he didn't come around the corner. So I got up to look. It was nothing. The door was closed still. The closet door was closed. It was no one. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay. So, it was just like weeks of just going through that. And I was already fed up. So I went to my good friend Google, feeling like, what do I do? Like I'm getting. And so I had come across this page that was saying, oh, you got to pray and this and that, and you got to like rebuke it. And so I bought 2 candles that had like the cross. It was like a cross, and so I used to sleep with crosses, and I started praying. I started rebuking it. I even started like yelling at it, cussing it out, like saying, "Just leave me alone." I started praying to my grandma, to God, and just saying, just help me like help me get rid of this. And so after about a week of doing that, it went away. But before then, I had another cousin come and spend the night at my house. And she didn't know anything about what was going on. And then I thought, oh, wow, good. Okay, I'm finally going to be able to have some good night's sleep. And so I went to sleep. And in the morning, she told me, oh, my God, girl. She's like, I don't know why, but I kept feeling like somebody was staring at me in the night. And I just, I looked at her like, oh, and I thought in my head, oh my gosh, okay, it's not just me, because, I thought like, wow, like she felt it too. She's like, yeah, I felt it right here, just standing, like, staring at me or something. And I was like, wow, yeah, I've been feeling like that too. So about a week after praying and everything, and getting angry at it, and, it went away. And so months later, we get together, another family get together at my aunt's house this time. And I was talking to my cousin, the one that was, well, all my cousins, but especially the one that was there with me, the one that I was making fun of, my cousin's ghost. And he was going through the same thing at the same time. We just didn't know about it. We were going
Wow.
through sleep paralysis. He was going through that too at the same time. We were comparing notes, like, oh my gosh, yes. And his wife is Muslim, and so she was like helping him like pray, and they started praying, and they had their own like ritual at night, because she said she would have to like wake him up because he was like in a sleep paralysis. And we were just going through the same thing at the same time, which was, I was like, okay, this thing followed us home. And ever since then, I don't say the name. I don't, I told my cousin, I say, man, whatever you have going on in your house, it followed me. I'm not going to make fun of it again. I don't, now as far as like ghosts and hauntings and things like that, I don't play with that stuff. Like, I don't make jokes about it, because I feel like it was a way of it saying, hey, like, you're making fun of it. You're making fun of me, now I'm gonna teach her a lesson. And turns out that my cousin had asked the priest to come bless the house. And the priest had asked her, did you just cut a tree somewhere in the house? And my cousin said, yeah, we actually had cut a tree that was here, when we bought it in the front yard. Okay, well, because whatever spirit is here, it's the previous owner, and he's upset because you cut a family tree that they planted together as a family, and it's upset because you did that. And so then she went and asked her neighbor that's at the corner of her at the end of her street, and that neighbor told her that the previous owner that lived there, his name was the name of the spirit that she heard in the restroom.
Oh, what? My hairs are standing right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she was like, okay,
Vanessa
yeah.
was like, what the hell?
Right. And then the priest also said that in her daughter's room, which was where a lot of that activity was happening, that they used to play the Ouija board in there. And so that's why there's a portal with
Yeah.
like things happening. And because things like fall out, like just a lot of things happen in that house where she would like catch like something grabbing her kid from like the crib, like by the arm, and
What?
like her trying to get into the room, and she couldn't get into the room, but she could see through the crack that something was pulling her kid from the
Oh,
arm.
no.
And as soon as they were able to get the door open, it let it go. It let the arm go. So
Oh nah. See,
yeah,
no.
things like
You
that.
stood there. I would have moved. There's no way I would
I
stay there.
told
Mm-mm.
There's
That's
no way.
what we tell her. I was like, I can't believe you're still like
He's
there.
still there now.
Well, no, they got a priest to come bless the house, and I don't know what they did, but it stopped. And now they have some things going on, but not as bad as that. Not as bad as that anymore.
Nah, nah. There's no way. No, nope, nope. Not for me. Absolutely, absolutely not. There's no way. What? You coming at my baby? That's what I'm saying, Vanessa. Your son and now her cousin's. Nah, no, no.
No,
We.
that's crazy. And it's like, I feel like those beings are choosing to stay here because when you're crossed over and you're in that afterlife, like heavenly space, it's all happy over there. There's no anger, so
Yeah.
that's just crazy to me that he's angry because someone cut the tree. That's, yeah. And then the Ouija board, that's just, yeah, that's not good. I wouldn't mess with that at all.
Yeah.
I used to play with the Ouija board when I was in high school, and I've spoken about this too. Yeah, because and his name was Michael, and I still remember it because and it's kind of funny that every time I get a reading too, they're always like, "Oh, Archangel Michael works with you," but I'm pretty sure it wasn't him speaking to me through this Ouija at that time. But this, that spirit would always ask for me, like, when we would play, like that I forgot the name of it. It's like the planchette would move really quickly. So, but when I wasn't at my friend's house, it would go really slow, and they would always spell out my name, like always asking for me. So I'm the one, but I didn't know at the time that I had the gift and all that. I just, you don't know like everything. Something's going on, but you don't know what. And then it was always spelling out my name when I wasn't there. And they would be like, "Are you coming over? Because we want to play." And this thing is moving slow, and it's just asking for you. And I'm like, why is it asking for me? Like it just started asking for me, like all the time. Like really weird. But I didn't know. And
Yeah.
and it wound up telling us that, that it was 17 years old when it died, and his name was Michael, and like I don't remember exactly what he looked like, but I was just like, I had enough of Michael and this Ouija board. Like I'm not playing this anymore. Like because weird things started happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you don't like. It's one thing like us being gifted that okay, yeah, we could get messages from spirit. But you know what? It really is by choice, people. There's some people that I'm like, I'm not talking to you. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy though. Like, no, not with my baby, like my kid. Like, it kind of reminds me too when Jade was little that she, I walked into the room. She was crying one day, and I walked into the room, and she was running back and forth in the crib. Like I remember this. She was like maybe a year or something, between 1 and 2 years old, and she was in the crib running back and forth and looking up.
Oh,
And I was like, all right, this kid is seeing something that I can't see, but whatever it is, we're not doing this. So like I told and I lived with my parents at the time, my mom, my stepdad, and I remember telling them like, can you watch her because I got to take a walk to the church that I always used to go to. And I went over there and hijacked some like holy water, like, and brought it home and like prayed and did all that. And it never happened again. It happened that one time and that was it. Like, I was like, we're not doing this. Like, no, it's really,
yeah.
really,
I had to do that. I had to get holy water and put it, in my mirrors and everything in my room during that time. But, I can't say the name like when, like it won't, like I can't say it or I choose not to say it, but I kind of get the
yeah,
sense of like, okay, like it left you alone, but it doesn't want you to talk about him. Like
that's
by
fine. Like
actually.
gotta
Yeah, I'm
save
like,
it.
I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
the
Trust your
thing,
gut.
it's the thing, and so I was telling my cousin, maybe it was upset that, and it wanted to like scare you to leave the house, and it
Yeah,
took for her to just say, this is my house now, stop, doing these things. And they still see shadows, but it doesn't bother them as like physically attack them anymore. But they still see shadows like around the house, like if it's just living there, like, you know comfortably. It's still my house, I'm still here, and it's just letting them live there, I guess.
And we are
yeah,
powerful beings. So, like, if you don't like something, you don't like it there, don't be scared. Tell it to leave and be very demanding and straightforward and really mean it. And they have to leave. They have to listen. It doesn't matter if they are high vibration or low vibration. You don't like it, demand it to leave, and they have to. And you have to be very sincere with your words. And it's a vibration match. So it's kind of like, they're gonna match that, and they have to listen. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
yeah. No, something like that. I'm like, you gotta go for real. You know, I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry.
how I got. I was like, just leave me alone. Like, leave me alone. Get out, just get out of my house. Leave me alone. And it left me alone. But my cousin was going through the same thing, and it was like, okay, we learned our lesson. We're not gonna be. So now I rarely go to her house. If I have to, I like pray and like, just protect me and don't let anything attach me. And like, I'm coming here with, like, no, intent, like, just respectful. Like, just leave me alone, don't attach, to me. But yeah, it's still, I think about it twice before going to her house now.
It's like I had enough of you. Like,
Yeah, I'm
really.
like, what's around here? Yeah, but that's my story.
Thank you so much, Susie, for hopping on though and
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it so much. You the best.
Thank you. Bye. How do I get out?
I think you gotta end it. Does like an X or something pop up
Okay.
on your? Yeah. Wow. Like, no, Vanessa, absolutely not.
Oh no, I wouldn't go back over there again. But as an adult, I don't really see them, like, spirits and things like that while I'm awake. The only thing is like the corner of my eye, I'll see something move, or go from room to room, and I'm like, okay, I saw something move. But I don't know what it is, but I saw something move. Things like that. Of course I've been woken up by furniture moving, that just I just sat up in bed like, what was that? What was that? And things like that. But no, I remember even hearing, like, I used to hear mom, mom, right? And I thought it was my kids. And I go to the room and they're like asleep. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Like, who's calling me? Like, where am I hearing mom?
yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. There was one of the apartments that I used to live in too, like, before this apartment. In this apartment, I see things, and I do, and I always talk about this really tall gentleman that always is always like in the hallway. He doesn't bother me. Like, I'm actually fine with him being here, like totally 100%. Like, I'm like fine. But there was an apartment that I used to live in, and I remember like somebody sat on the bed, and then like same room, and then another day it's like I felt like they were pulling the sheets, and I'm over here pretending I'm sleeping, and I'm like trying to move, but meanwhile I'm like dying inside, like, oh my god, what the hell is in this room?
Oh my
I gotta
God.
act like I'm sleeping. Yeah, but things like that could really would really spook me. Like, it would really scare me.
Hmm.
Like, and I'm not saying that if something happened now, like, I wouldn't get scared. I probably would. Like, let's be real. There's some things that still scare me.
Yeah.
100%. Could you imagine
No way. Like,
that now? No.
no. And now it's like, because I communicate with spirit while I'm dreaming, I feel like that's when all this stuff happens, like good and bad. Like, I'll have like bad energies come and attack. Like, I've been attacked while I was asleep. And so I'm always fighting, and I fight it, and it's crazy. Like it's always in that hypnagogic state,
Yeah.
you know, and that's where I see everything. That's where I see it. And then it's like it's crazy stuff. Like I felt like there was like this thing. It almost like a gargoyle-ish, maybe.
What?
Yeah, and it was small and it was like right here when I was laying down. And it was doing something in my ear and it made my body like tingle. Like I felt like my body was doing this and it was like tingling. It was almost like it was sucking like my soul out or something. It was
What?
crazy. It was really crazy. And this happened maybe a few weeks ago. And I was upset because I was like, what are you doing? Who are you? What are you doing? You know, and I was kind of like trying to get my body to wake up out of it. And then I saw, but it was like, it was almost like I was awake because I could see my wall in my bedroom. Like I could see all that, but I was asleep. It was weird. And then I just saw these little things floating around, very small, tiny things with trumpets.
Yeah.
And, you know, doing these things, these weird noises. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to wake up. I got to wake up. So I started saying the Our Father prayer because I used to say that as a kid. I used to say that all the time. And it used to just wake me up. I used to take all the bad stuff away. I said it and it wasn't working. And it always works. And so I was
Wow.
like, all right, you know what? I'm going to call God. I was like, God, I need your help. You know, protect me. And like envisioned the whole light being protected, shielded, and that thing went away like this. Um, and I'm always fighting, like I'm always fighting whatever it is. And they come full force. And I'm not scared at the time. I'm like, no, I'm protected and God's here. And, you know, and I come out of it. I always do. But yeah, I do get attacks. And I don't know if it's sent to me. I don't know if it's just what's around. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm ready to fight it. And if they want to come, all right, let's go.
Yeah. No, that's like lucid dreaming then, right? It's like you're kind of you're sleeping, but you think you're awake.
I don't know, because I feel like lucid is like, I don't know, you're able to control, like, get out
Yeah.
of bed, go to the living
Yeah.
room and do all, and I didn't do that. And there's like out of body experiences, which you know, I have once in a while. I really hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Um, but yeah, that happens where like I actually get up and I switch the lights and my hands just go through it. Like I cannot touch the light switch. And it
Mm.
feels weird. I feel like I'm the ghost, you know? And so I don't like it. And then you're thinking, like you could like, oh, okay, like let me go to the kitchen and let me go, you know, outside and let me go to the
Yeah.
gym or whatever it is. You know, you can do all that and it's just weird to me. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go back in my body and stay there. Like I'm not, no.
No, absolutely not. We're not doing this. We're always like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, no.
No, I've had like plenty of dreams though, sleep paralysis and all of that. And you know, I always just call on Jesus. Like once I learned that I could call on him, like the minute I would mention his name and they, you know, would let me go or whatever. And I used to use the Our Father too.
Yeah.
That's it. Like now, like the minute it starts, I'm like, oh no, we're not even going there. 'Cause I'm about to cut you off right now. Wait, um, and it took me a while to figure out how to fight back, how to beat it. That's what I knew I was like. I didn't know that I can protect myself. I didn't know that I can say things. I didn't know that I can pray and it can, you know, disappear. So, and I feel like this is what some of these spirits do. Like, you know, they're trying to take advantage. They're trying to take advantage. So they're gonna do
Yeah.
whatever they can.
And you have to fight. Like, you know, I know there's like, okay, well, you know, just take them to the light and love them and all that, which is fine. But with these really dark entities, I have to fight. Like, I will tell you, just recently, I was trying to figure out what was in this home, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I had a dream, and like these two heads came rolling out in my dream. Yeah, and it was two of
Ooh.
them, and I was like, okay, like, what are you doing here? Like, leave. And I'm like, grabbed it by its hair, picked up the head, put it on. Like, I was like, I'm gonna burn you, and you're gonna get out of here. Like, I'm like, I get rid of it. Like, I fight back. It's almost like, like these superheroes where you got to use violence back. Like, it's like that. I mean, you have to do that to get rid of it. And it's always fire. I always get rid of it with fire, or I hang it outside. Like, and it's all just in my dream. Just visioning it. I hang it outside. I'm like, okay, you want to come for me? Then you're going to burn out there and you're going to go away. So think twice before you come for me.
Yeah. I feel like you were like some kind of warrior in a past life. For some reason, I'm talking to you and I'm getting stuff on you like warrior in the past life, and they're also showing me something, probably another life where you were being like burned at the stake. I
That's
don't,
exactly what I told her. The head, I said, you're gonna burn just like I did back in the day. I told her that. That's
oh,
so funny that you say that.
oh yeah, because that's what I'm getting. So I'm like, let me share this with Vanessa right now.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Literally what
Like,
they showed me. I'm like, oh,
we
she
were
was
like
like burned.
witches back in the day because we had gifts. Like, that's what they did to us because we knew stuff. I mean, this goes way back. Even, I mean, the Egyptian time, which that's another lifetime that I've lived, just telling what was happening, what is going to happen, or healing people. I mean, that's just, it was unheard of. Like, that's not something that was normal, and you're a witch or whatever. But I mean, it's just crazy. And what's funny, this is so funny because in my apartment, I've been here since July, maybe June or July. Last night, I had a knock on my door, and nobody ever comes over here, ever. And I'm like, who's at my door? And so I opened my bedroom door, and my cat is right there by the door, like just looking at it. And I'm like, who's here? So I looked through the people, and there was two ladies. And I'm like, what do they want? So I opened the door, and they were from the church. And they were like, oh, can I say a prayer for you? And can I share a story? And I'm like, you can share a story. she's like, do you need any help or anything I can help you with? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, okay. So she shares a story about God like curing her. And she's like, have you had any similar experiences? And I'm like, yes. Like, I've had all kinds of, health stuff, and I got cured and things like that. Like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, that's good. And I go, well, I mean, I talk to spirit. I have a relationship with God, and I'm protected. And, I actually am a medium. Like, I do that when I sleep. And she's like, wait, so are you like old age or new age medium? And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. Like, well, what does that mean? But she was kind of like digging, and she was kind of asking like, if, I don't know, like, how do you know who you're talking to when you talk to spirit?
Yeah.
How do you know it's God? Like, are you talking to multiple beings? Because it's only just God that you should talk to. It was like, it was just weird. It was weird. I was like, it's just weird how that happened, and it never does. So I was kind of blown away by it, and they were like, oh, okay, that's all right. Weird.
What? Like, this is the thing too, like with today's day and age, like, I mean, you can believe in whatever you want at this point. It's like,
Hey.
I'm not here. It's like, when you and I do these lives or whatever, like, we're not here to make people like believe what we believe. Like, we're not, we're sharing what we believe. We're sharing, you know, conversations, on what we believe or like our experiences. We're not here to push on our beliefs on anyone. So it's very interesting how they come and they knock on your door, and it's like, there's almost like some judgment there to a
Yes.
certain extent. Like they're looking to try to tell you like maybe you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're trying to guide you in the way that they feel that you should be living your life. And it's like, listen, I'm not here to tell anybody anything. Like, you know, like you've been on my lives, like, you know, I'll be like, listen, whatever you believe in, God, Jesus, Buddha, source, universe, whatever resonates for you,
Mm-hmm.
that's who you go talk to. Like,
Yeah, I don't even care. You know, I don't, and even if you don't believe, like, that is so, that's cool to me too. I'm not judging anyone. That is your journey. That is what you're on. Then that's you. You know, I don't like to be judged for what my beliefs are, you know, and I only speak on what I've experienced and what I've seen and felt. So,
right.
you know, and if it's something that someone else had said, then I'll say it. Like, well, people say, you know, but I know
Right.
I know my relationship and I know who I talk to and you just feel it. It's yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. If there's anyone on here that wants to share like any story, like something, you know, when they've encountered spirit or like, you know, not so nice spirits, even good ones, like you can request to come on live and I'll bring you on. If not though, I'm just gonna get into something that I saw yesterday. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I know this is kind of like out of left field, but like as we're talking
Mhm.
about like the past lives and this and that. I saw this video on TikTok last night, you know, and it's going around, I think, a lot how they're saying how our world ended in 2012. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay.
Tell me.
I was like, I saw a video and I think it went pretty viral. I believe the girl that spoke on it, like her video got like 13 million views or something like that. But there was a guy too that I saw. Maybe this is why, like the algorithm on TikTok, I saw a guy share, and he was talking too about it. But she was saying how, you know how the Mayans that they said that the world was going to end in 2012. So she went into this whole thing about how we used to have 13 months, and then we changed our calendar. Um, and this is why, like, the date, like the way that it matches up. So anyway, so basically I would need to like, I might have to post this freaking thing on my story so that people can see this. I might have to break it up and like post it so they can view it. um but basically it was like it ended in 2012. She was speaking to her friend who loves this type of conspiracy, and that they compared like the calendar as far as like the dates, because somebody from Ethiopia commented that they're living in 2014 still, but we're in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So their calendar is way different than ours because they're still following the 13 months, and that their new year starts actually like September 1st or something like that. And she was like, so basically like our year compared to like that calendar was actually December 21st of like 2019. So going from 2019 into 2020. And this is where it threw me for a little loop because I have spoken about this, guys, how many times, and I started my lives in 2020. But I always speak about New Year's Eve 2019, how, you know, my friend invited me over for a ritual to like burn things and let go of things. And I let go of a lot. And I was open to receive. Like I opened up, I said I wanted to open up my heart again. I wanted to learn how to open up my throat chakra. I wanted to do all these things that was holding me back. And I recognized it. I was being held back in love. Like I held myself back from experiencing love again and all this. So I'm listening to this girl and I'm like, yo, like New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2019, we did that ritual at exactly midnight. And she said that when, you know, in New York, the ball drops and all, like when the ball dropped, that it was a minute late. I never knew that. And the person that told me this when I was showing her this video was my daughter. She said, yeah, I remember we were watching it. And I was like, why is it off? Because it's already midnight and the ball still hasn't come down. And she was saying how that's when we kind of all like shifted over to the new world. It's really like yeah,
Interesting.
it's really interesting, Vanessa. I was like, what the fuck? I had to watch this girl say this like 5 times. And all I could think of was, yo, like I always speak about that date specifically because I felt like I felt a shift in me. And I went into 2020 like totally different, mindset different, and everything started happening for me. Like boom, 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 boom. And
That's that's
this is
funny.
what yeah, this is what she's talking about. And I'm like, so when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going down this rabbit hole right now.
You know what? You know, it's funny because I'm over here thinking, right? And I'm like, that's when I think that's when officially started my business is 2020. Like it was like like it hit so hard. And I feel like every year, and I said this before in a live, like every year on my birthday, it's just something stronger spiritually happens. Like this is
Yes,
the
yes,
time, right? I feel like I don't know, everybody's like interested in wanting to know themselves and get and fix themselves, which is great. That's why we're here as light workers, right? Is to spread the love and to help other people. And it makes sense. I'm all down for conspiracies and stuff
yeah,
like that. So
yeah. But this one was pretty intense. Like I was just like, could it really be that, we did shift? Because now I also feel like it's so welcomed.
mhm.
People who are, who have gifts and like light workers and people that are trying to change the world and trying to connect with people and trying to heal. Like a few years ago, like 10 years ago, it was not accepted the way that it is now.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't. Like it was just starting. It was just starting. Um, but really now, like 2020 came in and like everything, COVID, like it was like almost the end of the world. And God bless all those souls that passed away, but we lost a lot of people, and there was a lot of other spiritually gifted people saying like, oh yeah, because they weren't supposed to come with us into the new world, they're not supposed to be here. And I was like, why would they say something like that? But like as the years go on and more things come, starts coming to the surface, it really makes you think like, what the fuck is going on? you know so I saw that and I was like, oh no, see, I'm not going down this rabbit hole today because I saw it like 2 nights ago, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and our timelines, just timelines and past and future and current. It's all happening right now, these timelines.
right,
And it's
right.
hard to understand and to grasp it because it's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean, we're
Yeah,
living another life right at this moment? But we are. Um, that's just what's going on. And I've seen it, I've seen these past lives that, or we say past, but I've seen it in different times and different lives and different relationships. And it's so neat though too to see that happening. And then being a spirit guide for someone else in a different timeline. I just had a dream like a month ago, and I was in the car. It's always like I'm in the car. I was in the car with a girl, um, and she was dressed up like she was out somewhere. She was driving super fast, and I knew that she was gonna wreck. And I kept trying to tell her to slow down. Like I was trying, but I think she was drunk at the time. So I was telling her, slow down. Like it's going to curve. The road is going to curve, like slow down. She ended up slowing down, but she didn't slow down fast enough. And so she pulled over to the right, went down this hill, and I was just with her the whole time. And when she ended up getting out of the car, she didn't have her heels on. They were like, I don't know, somewhere outside. And I remember picking up her heels for her, and then
mm,
she was dazed. And then she looked down and then like picked up the shoes that I picked up. And I was just by her side the whole time. And I knew she couldn't see me, but I was there to like guide her and protect her at the same time and kind of put those thoughts in her head, like, here, slow down, here, pick this up, or here, walk this way, sit down here. Like that's what I was doing. So it's very interesting to see those lives, those timelines.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because in that video too was mentioned the timelines the way that you're saying. um I did a live, on the law of assumption, and my guest then was talking about the timelines, and he's supposed to come back on and do another live and discuss the timelines because I was like, we need to have a discussion on this because I want to share it with my community,
Mhm.
as far as timelines and like how we can, you know, move
Yeah.
around or like,
Mhm.
just like embrace it and finally like move forward and get into that. And that's exactly what it's like. If you think about it, 2019 into 2020, we went to a whole different timeline.
Yeah.
Like we left, and it does feel like 2019 was a very long time ago. It
Yeah.
feels like it's been like a long time, and it was not that long ago. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
you
That's so
know?
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm like, no, I gotta like I was like, this is gonna really freak me out. But it just made me really think about where I was in that moment, and I felt that, like I knew it. Like I was like, when we did that ritual that night, we weren't watching the ball drop. We were outside in our friend's backyard by a fire pit,
Mm.
and I, did the burning, and like I released, and I felt like a shift because then it was like, that's it. Like, I'm taking care of me. I come first. It's like
Yeah.
I'm choosing myself again, and all these amazing things happen. And I always say 2020 was like the best year for me. I
Yeah.
swear to God it was. I'm like, I know it was like there was a lot going on in the world, but it's the same thing like what you're saying, like your business started booming. It's like it still brought in a lot of blessings, like, a lot of heartache for a lot of people, but there was still a lot of blessings along with that,
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
I love fire. Like, man, you want to get rid of something, write it down and burn it. Like, those are just sacred rituals that have been around for lifetimes. Like, write it down, burn it. Your intentions are so important in anything you
Yeah.
do. But man, there's just something about purifying, and kind of sealing it with fire. So I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh my God. So this conversation was great. As always,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like the hour already passed so fast. But thank you, Vanessa, as always. I love to have you on here because we always have the most amazing freaking conversations, and your energy is like everything to me. And you're probably like my witch sister, and we got burned.
Yeah.
Because I was told that I got burned.
Yeah. It's all right. I was with you.
Yeah, they said like somebody too, like really quickly, that was spiritually, gifted herself, and she told me, yeah, you in a past life, you spoke a lot on these things that weren't acceptable by the public, and they burned you. Like I got burned at the stake, and that's why in this life you're still trying to learn how to speak up and open up your throat chakra. It just made so much sense for me. I was like, oh, that's why. She was like, yeah, because you're scared. Like you went a lot through this life afraid to open up your mouth because you used to do it so much before and they burned you for it. And I was just blown away by that.
Wow. And here you are doing your live, speaking your truth. That's wonderful.
And me, it's like, I'm talking and I'm talking to anybody. I don't care. Don't let me
Yes.
Now that my heart chakra's open, like I'm telling you how I feel, and I don't care if you like it or not. Like that's how I feel too.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm like, I'm just gonna love you. I don't care.
That's it. I don't care if it gets on your nerves. I'm gonna tell you that I love you and I miss you, and what?
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I
you,
love
Vanessa.
you.
I know I have so much love for you too. I can't wait to make it to San Antonio. It's on my list.
Yay.
We're gonna hang out.
Yeah.
We're gonna go live, and I'm gonna be like, "Look who I'm with."
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it. Yeah, but thank you so much, and guys, for those that hopped on, thank you, Susie, for sharing your story. And I am praying to the gods that this life saves.
Yes. Please save this time.
All right, guys, but I will see you soon. Besitos. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night, guys. Good night, Vanessa.